Alright guys, so in this video we're gonna go through the steps for adjusting the shifter linkages in the 6-speed manual transmission that you can find in the Chevrolet Sonic with the 1.4 turbo engine, which is the M32 gearbox. I believe this procedure is roughly the same for the Chevrolet Cruze, which also has the same gearbox, though I'm not sure because I don't have a Chevy Cruze. So there's two versions of this manual. One calls for a locking pin, which is this one with the number 1, which can be just a 5mm Allen wrench. The other manual though calls for this locking pin, which is built into the transmission. It's the transmission lockout. So that's what we're gonna use because that's what I have in my car. Either way, the steps are basically the same, which is you pop the linkages loose, then you lock the transmission and you lock the lever in place, then you pop the lockouts right back. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first step, you are gonna remove the shifter boot. You can just pull on the leather and it will come right up. So next we have to remove this trim, which you can also pull from the back side and it comes right off. You have to kind of fish that out of there. It's easier with both hands, but I kind of film with one. So that little piece is off and you get access to the shifter linkages. Right, so now with all the plastics removed, there's no right way to do this. You can move this either way, but you have to pop out these white plastics. They are pretty difficult to get out of there, so I would recommend you start with this side, because once you pop this side, the lever will come loose in that end and you won't be able to move it sideways, but you can move it up and down. So you first do this side, then do this side. As I said, there's no right way to do this. If you are having trouble, I can recommend you get a screwdriver in there and just lever this off. Right, so you don't have to take it off, you just have to pull it enough so that the linkage is not pulling on the cable. So now this end is completely loose. Now let's get to the second one, which is easier. So now the shifter is completely loose. So now that our shifter is completely loose, it's not attached at all, we have to lock both ends at the shifter and at the transmission. So first we're gonna pull on this tab and pry this plastic off, which is also kind of hard. Let me just prop the phone up so I can use both hands. Right, so you push on this little tab and give a pull. Right, now it's off. You flip it 180 degrees, so these prongs are on this side. These prongs are gonna go on these holes. Let me get a light so you can watch it better. Yeah, so this has to align to those holes. So you pop it in there. You pop it in, making sure it's holding the lever in there. Right, so now you cannot move the shifter. Now let's go to the engine bay. Right, so here in the engine bay, beneath the charge pipe, you can see the shifter lever arm at the transmission, and you can see the little locking tool it has, which is right here. So right now I can move both arms, both selector arms. I can get it into gear and move it in and out of neutral. If I want to lock the transmission in place, I have to push slightly towards the firewall and then push this little lock right in. Keep in mind it has to go all the way in. Like, this is halfway. If I try to push it there, it will not go all in. You have to push the lever arm. Let me try to get the light in there. You have to push this a little bit towards the car, so this one goes all the way in. See, now it's either in there flush. Now this side of the transmission is locked. You cannot move it. And the shifter lever is also locked. So you can't move this either. Right, so now it's at the position where you have to lock it in place. You just have to push those in. Make sure they're all the way seated flush, and that's it. Your transmission is now correctly adjusted. Now you just have to pop this plastic off once again. You have to pop this off once again and rotate it to its natural position. Clicks in place. That's all done. Before you go and redo all the plastics in here, you have to go to the transmission and unlock this little latch. So now the transmission is free. See, I can move it by hand. Then you go inside and check that you can go through all of the gears correctly. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and of course reverse. Go in there quick few times, checks all nice, and if you feel it's right, then it's time to put it all back together. Okay, so now it's time to put it all together. So we take our little tray and fish the shifter through. Easy enough. Just make sure it's aligned and it goes right in. Then just pop the shifter boot. You have to do it on the front side first. So first the front, then the back. That's it, you're all set.